Welcome to the Chattanooga Area Food Bank, where our mission is to lead a network of community partners in eliminating hunger and provide more nutritious food. You may be surprised to learn the Chattanooga Area Food Bank serves 20 counties, 11 in Tennessee and 9 in Northwest Georgia. That's 7,000 square miles of hungry children, families, and elderly neighbors we're responsible for. But we don't manage alone. Following the Amazon business model, we distribute food with the help of over 300 agency partners, such as the Salvation Army, Metropolitan Ministries, YMCA, and church pantries, to name a few. In fact, odds are if an organization gives food to the needy and meets our criteria, they probably get their food from us. You may be surprised to learn that the face of hunger is not the person you think it is. Over 80% of the people we serve have some college education, and at least one person in their household has worked for a paycheck in the past year. Veterans, teachers, bank tellers, blue-collar and white-collar workers all represent the face of hunger in our area. Welcome to the Chattanooga Area Food Bank, where our mission is to lead a network of community partners in eliminating hunger and provide more nutritious food. You may be surprised to learn the Chattanooga Area Food Bank serves 20 counties, 11 in Tennessee and 9 in Northwest Georgia. That's 7,000 square miles of hungry children, families, and elderly neighbors we're responsible for. But we don't manage alone. Following the Amazon business model, we distribute food with the help of over 300 agency partners, such as the Salvation Army, Metropolitan Ministries, YMCA, and church pantries, to name a few. In fact, odds are if an organization gives food to the needy and meets our criteria, they probably get their food from us. You may be surprised to learn that the face of hunger is not the person you think it is. Over 80% of the people we serve have some college education, and at least one person in their household has worked for a paycheck in the past year. Veterans, teachers, bank tellers, blue-collar and white-collar workers all represent the face of hunger in our area. In 2015, Feeding America did a study across the country to map the meal gap. In the Chattanooga Area Food Bank service area, 9.8 million additional meals are needed to bridge this gap on an annual basis. Because of this extreme need and our community's ability to give, Feeding America chose us as one of 3 food banks in the entire country to participate in a strategic accelerated program to double in size and eliminate hunger in our region by 2025. We accepted that big, bold goal challenge, and in 2016, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank distributed 15.9 million pounds of food. That's enough to provide over 13 million meals. Of this amount, 4 million pounds was nutritionally dense fresh fruits and vegetables. While this sounds like a mountain of food, in reality, it's not enough. 1 in 4 children and 1 in 7 adults in our 20-county region is food insecure, meaning they don't have reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable, nutritious food. But we can't continue to grow without the ongoing support of our many community partners. And we can't do it without you. Stop in anytime to tour our operations, and you'll be amazed and inspired. And you just might see our mission in action.
I'm Lori Mitchell once again at the Chattanooga Area Food Bank, taking a tour of this giant warehouse where a lot of good things are happening. And I'm joined by Melissa Blevins, the new CEO of the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. Some important work is happening behind us. They are assembling these emergency food boxes. What goes into each box?
Well, great events like Share Your Christmas enable us to put things like cereal, canned goods, tomato sauce, spaghetti. We have fruits, vegetables in cans, as well as juice. We really want to make sure a family has a lot of opportunity to create nutritious meals.
Quite an assortment, and you're able to do this with some community partners in Chattanooga.
That's right, that's right. A lot of this food is donated through our partners like Publix, Walmart, and Food City. And also, as we see towards the end of the box, everything in the box is shelf stable, which is great. But with those partnerships, we are also able to provide access for families to fresh products like milk and produce and meat, frozen meat. So we'll see that at the end of the line today, but that's what's really important is those donations from Share Your Christmas.
And 2020 has been a tough year for a lot of folks, and the need has only continued to grow here in our community. What can people do if they are in need of an emergency food box? Who do they call, and how do you get the product to them?
We have a very strong relationship with United Way, grateful for that partnership. They have United Way has a 211 call for helpline. Anyone in the community can reach out. United Way has done a great job of helping us make that process even better for our families with a virtual voucher. So calling United Way with a virtual voucher, those families can get that voucher and come over here and get food.
And it's absolutely touch-free, so it's safe, it's easy to pick up, and it's helping a lot of people.
When Jesus started his ministry, one of the first things he did was to feed the 5,000 in the Sermon on the Mount. And that's what these people do. They show Jesus' love through feeding people.
Lafayette Mayor Andy Arnold is one of the first to praise the work done here at the Care Mission. One of the first to praise the work done by Dean and Kendra Phillips.
God just laid it on my heart that this needed to be opened up. So we searched, we found a building. We started out actually with $500 seed money, and once the doors opened, it was like a snowball effect.
And like Jesus' disciples at the Mount, Dean and Kendra relied on their faith to be able to provide for others when resources seem scarce, especially this year due to the growing number of economic hardships.
In 2019, we averaged about 700 households a month. Right now, we're doing anywhere from 750 to 800 a month. In 2019, we averaged distributing about 8 tons of food a week. Now we're distributing about 10 tons of food a week.
One of their blessings is the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. Their donations help provide food to the Northwest Georgia region. Another blessing is the wonderful group of volunteers that show up every single day.
They have given a lot of their time, effort, and there's been times that there was no money for them, yet they continued working here and kept this place open.
The Phillips inspire those volunteers, and similarly, the volunteers inspire the Phillips.
Well, they had helped my family out one time, and I figured if they're good enough to help my family out, then I should give back. And I just been coming up here and just got stuck here, it seems like, but in a good way.
The actions of love and empathy do not fall short on those who rely on the Care Mission.
They've helped me in my time of need when I needed it the most.
It's humbling that God is using us to do this. We have been in this situation, and I think that's one reason why he uses us to help others. We want to lift them up and let them know that we've walked in their shoes and we know how it is.
Letting their light shine before others as an example and a reminder of what's truly important.
You have a good day, man.
Love.
To have people in the community that are willing to give that much, to make sure other people are blessed, just let you know that there's still good in this world.
For most young children, it's hard to understand how the coronavirus pandemic is impacting people's lives. But for 6-year-old Matea Belk, it's clear. He lives near the Red Bank Food Pantry. Since March, he has seen the lines of people waiting for food continue to grow, oftentimes wrapping around the entire building.
Once we was coming back from school, and it went all the way down the road over there. I thought that was pretty sad.
So when he lost 2 teeth.
Well, I lost these 2 last year, and these 2 the year before that, and I lost these this year.
There was only one thing to do.
Put them under my pillow, and then when I woke up in the morning, I had toothbrushes and $20.
Mateo says he knew exactly what he wanted to do with the cash.
I wanted to help people with since the food is in high need right now. I made this sign. It says, I will give the food bank $20. I hope this changed lives. Love, Mateo. And I drew this little picture.
Oh, and show us?
We've tried to be very open with our children about the community and what's going on in the community and helping others, and it looks like some of that's rubbed off on him. So as for a parent, it makes me very proud.
A small gesture that goes a long way.
My $20 feeds 80 meals.
Reporting in Chattanooga,
You can learn a lot from a 6-year-old.
Caroline Corrigan, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
It has been very difficult to meet the need. Right now, we're doing about 2,000 calls a week.
United Way's 211 call center is always busy, but their director of stability, Carmen Hudson, says they've seen about a 40% increase in the number of people needing food vouchers since the pandemic began.
Last year, we gave out about a little over 5,000 vouchers and about 6,000 referrals for food pantries. And this year, we have way exceeded the number of vouchers.
Tim Chafis, the senior manager, says they take about 2,000 calls per week. He explains how the process works.
So if people call in, we take all the information, name, address, zip code, different things like that, check them in our database called Service Point, and to see where they've been before. It's a tracking system. And if they are eligible for a voucher, we'll put them on the virtual voucher list through the Chattanooga Area Food Bank.
Chafis then sends a caller to the Chattanooga Area Food Bank with a voucher number to get an emergency food box.
The food bank has access to that virtual voucher, and they can see who is signed up and when they signed up. And they also use that to notify us that it's been picked up and at what day they picked up their food box.
211 Center employees hear a lot of tough stories from clients every day, and Chafis says some of the calls stick with them more than others.
I had a 90-year-old guy. He called back in April when COVID just hit and he didn't have any food. And he wanted to know, he was his first time calling 211. So what we did is got him, sent him to the food bank for the virtual vouchers. The main thing is that you let them know that you care. You're trying to help them.
211 is a free, confidential referral and information helpline that connects the community to human services. If you or someone you know needs a food voucher, you can call 211, but it's important to note that the number only works if you have a 423 area code.
And so they actually have to dial 423-265-8000 to get through to 211. And so that is an issue with the cell phone companies.
211 covers 16 counties and is open 24 hours every day.
When shelter-in-place orders occurred in the city, we were in a position to offer our support to 211 and to United Way for the delivery of emergency food boxes.
St. Alexius Outreach Ministries was perfectly poised to help meet the needs of people in our community when the pandemic hit, further fulfilling the ministry's mission.
What a blessing it is to them and how much it really means.
This van, driven by Sherry Douglas, makes about 20 deliveries daily, but she's reached as many as 34 homes in one day.
COVID brought us into it, but since we got into it and we see the need, with especially the elderly and the disabled and those that are quarantined, I mean, the need is so great there that I know that the ministry really wants to keep it going.
The CARES Act funded this van, but gratitude fuels it and keeps everyone going.
There's so many of them. They'll write us notes, give us cards. A lot of them, they like to pray for us. They'll ask us, hey, can I pray for you? You know, they really are excited.
Yeah, that's right on.
Yep.
Douglas says they get to know many of their recipients and their stories, like a woman who broke her hip.
She's encouraging to us. When you see that kind of thing, it's just really awesome.
Since COVID has hit, you know, they do the deliveries now, whereas before, of course, I'm in a wheelchair. It's hard for me to get out to the food bank.
David Whitlock is another person on Sherry Douglas's route.
When the money runs out, the cabinets get low, I know I can call the food bank and get a delivery, you know, and it holds me over. And they deliver a generous, you know, amount of food, you know, to hold you over a week or two.
The mobile delivery of emergency food boxes is saving lives.
Try not to call them every month, but the months that I do need them, I do give them a call, you know, and they're always there.
Some of them actually will cry because they're so relieved. It gives them a relief, you know, especially those that might have to be quarantined for whatever reason. They can't get out of the house. You know, they don't let us in, of course, but they're just happy to see us come.
Thank you. I'm Lori Mitchell, joined again by Melissa Blevins, the CEO of the Chattanooga Area Food Bank, and we are continuing our tour of your warehouse. You guys have a huge area to cover, more than 7,000 square miles in the Tennessee Valley and in North Georgia. Where is this food going?
Well, this food here, over here, up in the warehouse, we have 200 agency partners. We have an Amazon model, so they can order their product online anytime, anywhere. Place their order, and we will pick that order. We will load it up for them and deliver it out to their church or their pantry or their soup kitchen in one of those 20 counties that we serve.
And this is really the heart of what you guys do. It's all about getting the food and getting it out to the families who so desperately need it.
Yes, yes, and we couldn't do that with those partners agencies. They are really important to us. What we're looking at today is about 1.5 million pounds of food, and we are able to move that through that network of agency partners in about 30 days. So what you see here looks like a lot today, but that will all be out on tables with our families we serve in the next 30 days.
And Melissa, show us what we have here with the bread.
Yeah, we've got local manufacturers. They're a big part of what we do every day, and this was one of our recent donations that came in. Got fresh products, and because we have the cooler and freezer we talked about earlier, we're able to handle this product safely. And this will actually get weighed up, and it's getting ready to go out to our COVID testing site down at Alston.
None of this would be possible without these trucks that you have and the truck drivers who are both bringing food into the food bank and then taking it out to the community partners. What is happening over here?
Well, this is the opportunity that we have to purchase foods that may not get donated. So this is a full tractor trailer load coming in today that we will receive and put up in the racks, and as our agency partners order that product, we will turn around and load it right back on the truck next to it and send it out in the community.
Yeah, it is a continuous cycle. During COVID, the need was so great. Fortunately, your shelves were never empty, but they're starting to pick up again once again, but you've got to keep those donations coming in to keep hungry families fed in our area.
We've just seen such a need in this community as it continues to grow. Even in the last 3 months, we've had record distributions, and to kind of put it in context for those that might not know what 1.5 million pounds of food looks like, imagine driving down the interstate and 100 tractor trailers passing you. That's how much this food bank and our agency partners have distributed in the last 90 days.
All right, a lot of food, a lot of need, and a great need for donations. So keep those coming in to help the Chattanooga Area Food Bank feed hungry families in our community. The COVID-19 pandemic hit the Channel 3 viewing area in mid-March, putting thousands out of work and increasing the need for food by 40%.
Well, COVID-19 has been so destructive in our community and cities like us. We see people who have lost their businesses, who've lost their employment, who are struggling with their health, and as a result have all kinds of other problems. That leads to food insecurity.
Chattanooga Mayor Andy Burke made the difficult call to shut down several businesses on March 23rd to try to stop the spread of coronavirus. And as a result, many businesses are still trying to recoup.
When people are struggling with their businesses, with their employment, they also have trouble making sure that they can eat and put food on the table.
Hamilton County Mayor Jim Coppinger says the need for food goes far beyond COVID-19.
There's still a big need, and I think one of the misnomers in Hamilton County and probably the surrounding area that people think that there's only poverty in certain parts of our county. That's not true. I mean, it's throughout the county, it's throughout the region.
The Chattanooga Area Food Bank says nearly 200,000 people may experience food insecurity this year, including 62,000 children.
At City Hall, we receive so many requests for assistance for food. We have to direct them someplace. A big location that we point people to is the food bank.
If you donate just $1, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank can turn that into 4 meals.
The food bank subsists on the generosity of its donors. It doesn't have some kind of independent revenue source. So for us as a community, we have to make sure that it's got a support from each and every one of us.
And we want to encourage our community, the ones of us that can, to be able to provide and contribute and be able to donate food to the food bank.
We're with Events by FeedCo, and today we're going to be doing a Pollock piccata, kind of a play on it. It's something I grew up with as a kid, and we're going to use it with the emergency food bank box. Starting off, we're going to start with the fish itself, and we did a egg wash with it to get it prepared. Now, the seasoning behind it that we're going to use is going to be Ritz crackers and a little bit of pancake mix. So, pancake mix, generally, when it comes in a box like that, it's obviously mostly flour, so it's a perfect seasoning whenever you don't have anything in the cupboard, if it's something really inexpensive to get and stuff like that. So basically we're going to take a couple spices here, kind of did like a cumin, a little bit of chili powder, and just kind of like a red pepper flake, and we're going to mix that with our pancake batter, and then we're going to put that in the frying pan. So it makes this nice, almost red tint seasoning. And then just for a little bit of salt and crunch, we're going to crunch up some Ritz crackers that come out of the box, just so you can have a nice texture to it as well. So this fish right here, it's the cousin of cod, and with your batter, you want to just get that in there as much as possible. You want that to stick onto that fish very nicely. So now we've got that red tint to it a little bit, so you got those spices, that paprika is really coming through, everything like that. We're going to check our oil one more time just to make sure. And we're sitting at about 250 degrees. We're going to do a little slow and low on it.
So sort of the idea that we were coming up with when we were given a giant box full of all kinds of goodies was it just kind of took us back to, you know, growing up as kids and not really having a whole lot, and kind of coming home from school or something and being able to walk into the house and say, hey, what do we got in the cupboard, you know, and so, or what's in the pantry? And so we started looking at the ingredients, and it really reminded us of home because we were able to scramble to put together anything that we might have on hand, and that's one of the great things about these boxes is it's just like us growing up. So it really felt like home for us to take a protein and a starch and get creative with some of the fun things that we were given in our box, and really, you know, take some of these things and make a really good dish out of them. You know, we've come a long way since we were kids, but that's where it all started. So this was really fun.
Yeah, so now we're starting to get that nice sizzle out of this fish. So it's just about ready to be flipped over. Now with this fish, with it being as somewhat delicate as it is, it's definitely very easy to overcook it. So you want to just make sure you're focused on it a little bit. It's not something you can just walk away from. But it takes almost no time at all to cook, and it's a perfect seasoning blend for it. It's going to have a lot of flavor for you.
So literally everything that we're using to make this dish came out of the box that you get from the food bank, which was really cool. We only added a couple of things, and that was really to garnish and didn't add a whole lot of extra flavor. So you can really get a lot done with just exactly what they give you from the food box. So what we did was we added some minced garlic and some roasted red peppers and we're gonna add a little bit of fresh parsley at the end for garnish and some lemons. Those are the only 3 things that were not provided, so really you get a wide variety, a lot of good healthy things that you can make good meals out of.
All right, so like I said, you want to save this oil right here for you. And you can use that for something later if you want to do a fish fry, anything like that. But all of that in the pan, you want to keep that. And so just extremely simple. This is something that my grandmother taught me to make growing up. It's very, very easy. Any sort of chicken broth with heavy cream in it, anything like that. This all comes in one can, so it's very nice to have. And then out of this box also came this chicken noodle soup, and all I really want out of this is the broth. So I'll just use that just to kind of give a good base to the sauce here. And then we're just going to whisk this really quickly to kind of get it to all, you know, come together and be that nice, smooth sauce. So now we've got this nice, very lightly fishy, perfect kind of creamy broth going on. And then to make it into that piccata, we're going to add the fresh lemon to it. We're going to zest it. We're also going to get the lemon juice out of it as well. So now we've got that good yellow color in there. The rind from that is perfect. It's a great lemon. We're going to cut that in half and then get a little juice. So you can use your hands too. Just try to keep the seeds out and everything like that. All right. So it doesn't take much. There's about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice per lemon. So you kind of only really need about 3/4 of your lemon, because that'll give you just all the little flavors that you need from it. All right, now when it comes to our vegetables, our fresh garlic, right here, we'll add that straight into it. That's just gonna give it, you know, that very, very savory flavor. Yeah, just a little pinch of it will do. And then our roasted tomatoes here, we went ahead and had those already roasted off. All right, and then we're gonna add our fresh spinach. We're gonna let that wilt a little bit in the sauce. And don't be afraid to use a lot of spinach, because that stuff gets really small really quick. Now over here, Ricky's gonna get our garnishes ready. We have fried capers that came in the box, and those go absolutely amazing with fish. And then we also have fresh parsley, just to give it a little bit of freshness, you know, that kind of very earthy, herby feel.
And great color, contrasts all of the white that's going to be in the dish. Anytime you can add flavor and nutrition and color to make your dish really look good and appetizing. We eat with our eyes first, you know, especially if you're trying to feed children at home and you want to get them nutritious things into their body. Give it color, make it look fun, make it playful, and they're way more likely to eat it and try it, and they'll find out how delicious it is, and all the hard work you put in won't be wasted.
All right, so now we've got our spinach wilted down, and now to this part we're going to add the noodles. And this dish right here, as you can see, it's only been about, 7 ingredients, so it's very simple, takes minutes to do. Basically, you're just waiting for your noodles to come up. And then we'll add these mushrooms in as well. And the last thing to do is to plate it. And then we just want to get just a little bit of sauce on there. Get yourself a little lemon wheel, add it on top as a little garnish. And then you got your parsley. And now you've got a very simple but delicious Italian dish. And there you have it, very simple, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank Pantry Piccata.
we're still in Cleveland. This time we're at PRC Center for Outreach. I'm joined by Rick. Now we're standing here in a room full of food. So tell me what you guys do in this room.
Okay, on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, you can stop by. We have a lot of elderly. We provide them with food. We build relationships with them, kind of get to know them each week.
Yeah, absolutely. So when someone comes here to get a box, how do you guys fill those boxes? Because you put a lot of thought into how they can build meals with what you provide.
Yeah, we try to give them proteins, vegetables. We do a lot of non-perishable, and we do frozen meats that we give them each week.
And we were talking a little bit off camera, and you mentioned that Lee University is a really big help with providing, some of the goods that are needed here in these boxes. So tell me more about that.
The Leonard Center at Lee, they help us with meat a lot. Food City, usually around Christmas, they'll donate most of our staples that supply us for the year.
And with the pandemic, how has that changed kind of how you guys operate?
Okay, well, we're here, like I said, Tuesdays at 3. Anyone that can come that needs it, but we'll fill them up with a bag and hopefully can help them.
Yeah, warming the hearts and the stomachs of folks who live right here in Cleveland and in Bradley County. And so you can help food pantries just like this one by donating. And remember, the Chattanooga Area Food Bank can help make $1 go a lot further. And if you live in Cleveland or in Bradley County and you donate, that money helps people who live right here in this area. So you're literally helping your own neighbors in your own community.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lori Mitchell, and we are continuing our tour at the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. And we have something pretty cool we want to show you now. That's this giant cooler that's inside the warehouse. Melissa, tell us about how this has kind of changed for food banks in the past decade.
It has. In the last 10 years or so, a lot of food banks recognize that fresh produce and dairy and frozen meats are really important to solving hunger for our families. And so we've been able to create 10,000 square feet of cold space to store products like fresh onions, potatoes, watermelons, and carrots. And we'll see some of that today.
All right, let's go inside and check it out. Wow. Got a lot of stuff in here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any given day through our mobile pantry program and our emergency food boxes, this product will be gone in about 72 hours and will be on the tables of the families that we serve.
During COVID-19, you guys have learned a lot of things, like a lot of businesses, and you've also formed some unlikely partnerships in the community.
We did. Early on, we recognized that we have a lot of vulnerable folks in our community, and so we were able to partner with our friends at St. Alexius Outreach, Launch Chattanooga, and even Carter Bus, and we did a lot of home delivery initially, and we continue to build partnerships like that, even out through our 20 counties to make sure those who need food can have access to it.
We've all seen it. Students don't always eat or drink everything on their cafeteria tray. Every year, tons of unopened, packaged food and drinks go straight to the trash.
There was a lot of food being wasted in the cafeteria. Kids were just throwing away perfectly good food, and that other teachers had tried to collect it and use it to feed children who wanted a snack or needed extra food.
Carla Harward is an attorney and a mom. Her daughter Sophie had noticed all that food going to waste. She told her mom, and the wheels began turning.
So I proceeded to develop the idea of Helping Hands, which is a in-school food donation program that's kid-led, and it teaches kids the value of helping other kids by not wasting food anymore.
But getting the idea off the ground wasn't easy. Some school system nutrition directors pointed to government guidelines preventing the reserving of food.
And I said, well, that's not what we're doing at all. We're not reserving this food. The kids are donating it to us, and we are using it to give back to them when they need it the most over the weekends and school breaks.
Carla says the donated food is prepackaged, safe, and can be stored. After winning approval in one school system, more than 60 others in Georgia have followed, and other states are expressing interest as well. She hopes that this once seemingly impossible idea will someday be a national program.
Chattanooga Area Food Bank really gave us our start. They loved our idea. They supported us from the beginning, and because I think it really is because of them that we've been able to make the program as unique and as and all-encompassing as it's become.
I'm Sanders Parker. I'm with Flying Squirrel Restaurant down on the south side in Chattanooga. Today, we're going to be cooking with the food bank using their emergency food box, which had a lot of fun goodies in it. And we're going to be making a pretty basic dish today. It's basically going to be a tasty puree of black beans, as well as some Spanish rice, and then a lovely boneless pork chop with a mandarin orange pico. We're going to start the rice first. We've got our onion here. We're going to be using this onion for the rice as well as the beans. This rice recipe is something that you'd find in a lot of Spanish restaurants. It's very classic. Uses diced onion as well as a little bit of garlic and, of course, rice. And then the thing that makes it a little bit special is that it's got a little bit of chicken stock as well as tomato paste. So once you've got your onion chopped, you're going to start heating your pan. We've got a Lodge cast iron Dutch oven here, which is awesome for cooking rice or a lot of other things. So we've got our onion here. We'll put a little bit of oil in this pan. All right. Let those guys get going. Also going to put a little pinch of salt. So we got 1 clove garlic for the rice, and then we've got 1 clove for the beans that we're about to do. We've got our onions going, we've got our garlic going. Now we're going to add our rice. Pretty much any rice you have around will work just fine. So we're going to toss that in with the onion, with the garlic, and the oil. We're going to kind of stir it around until that rice starts to get a little bit fragrant. Once you start to smell the rice, it'll smell almost a little bit nutty. That's when you know you're in a good spot. But basically what we're trying to do is just toast this just a little bit. After about 2 minutes, it should be ready to go. So while that's going, we're going to go ahead and get our onion ready for our black beans. So at this point, we're going to add chicken stock. This is 2 cups, and I'm about to add a little bit more, and then a little bit of tomato paste here. And this is about a heaping tablespoon of this. And we're going to stir this until it's all nice and incorporated. And then we're going to add salt, because food doesn't taste good without salt. And then I've got just a sprig of cilantro I'm just going to toss in there as well. Give it a little nice fragrance. Okay, cilantro's in. We're going to turn this up till it comes to a boil, and then once it starts boiling, we're going to set it on low and let it kind of do its thing. All right, back at a boil here, so I'm going to turn this down to where it'll simmer. All right, so now for the beans. So we've got our chopped onion, we've got our chopped garlic, we've got a little bit of cumin here, and a little bit of bay leaf, and then of course our black beans here. So onion and garlic in, salt, a little bit of black pepper, and with this we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of cumin as well. We're going to add it right on top of the onions directly in the pan. This is going to allow this spice to toast a little bit, and it's going to really bring out that flavor of the cumin. Black beans in. Now that everything's incorporated here, we're going to use our friend Mr. Chicken Stock again. This is just going to give it a little bit of liquid. So once the liquid's in, we're going to add a bay leaf, because bay leaf makes everything taste a little bit better. Normally with bay leaf, you'd want it to hang out for a while, but this is going to be on for just a few minutes, so it's going to help a little bit, but it's not going to, make or break the dish. So if you don't have bay leaf, don't sweat it. All right, while that's going, we're going to check in on our rice here. It's looking good. We can go ahead and start our pico. So we've got a little cilantro here, We've got our mandarin oranges out of our food box. A little bit of lime. So with the cilantro, I'm just gonna give that a quick chop into a small mixing bowl. We're gonna grab our mandarin oranges here, and we're gonna throw, kind of as many as you want. The sweetness of the mandarin is gonna kind of offset all the other fattiness in the dish. I'm also gonna use a little bit of this mandarin orange juice or the liquid here, for a little bit of sweetness in here.